Hello! Hello and welcome to the Wynonna Earp Reaction Podcast here on Amber Plaster's YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe. That way you don't miss a single one of our shows, but also Amber Plaster stuff. I'm Yael Tygiel. As I mentioned, this is Amber's channel. She's over there. Hi, Amber.
My name's Amber Plaster. Thanks for watching. You're watching this on my channel, and you can catch every single episode recap of the Wynonna Earp Reaction Podcast here for season 4 on my channel. And then within those links, you can check out the previous seasons that we did that have a home on another channel.
Yeah. Kari Lane is also here. Hello, Kari.
What's up, everybody? I was, getting themed out for Halloween, and it makes me want Halloween season to be okay so much. So I'm like, Halloween, I miss you.
Yeah, we're all feeling a little Halloween-y this episode. Let's get into this episode. What did we think? How did we feel? Because Halloween's my favorite holiday. So I put a lot of pressure on this episode.
Okay, well, to be honest, I'll break the ice real quick. I'm a little concerned that we have another episode dealing with tropes that can be handled very poorly. I think the last episode did a better job of like, oh, here's this thing, but it gets resolved so quickly and it has so much character development. This one was it was almost a filler episode, almost. I enjoyed it, yes, but as soon as it was the I don't know who I am trope, it's like, and I just love the cast so much, and I just wasn't as thrilled with doing that.
Okay. Amber, do you want to jump in or shall I? You want me to start? Okay. So I love Halloween. So I was very excited about Halloween episode. I will say last week, my big oh my God, I love that we are jumping back in and they're not throwing all this mythology on us and confusing me. And this episode threw in, I'm sorry, this fog at the edge of town. When did we hear about this before?
The famous fog.
What
the
fog?
Famous memory wiping fog.
Apparently we all walked through it, that we don't remember it.
Okay, great. So we're all on the same page on that. I was like, look, I've seen this show. What fog? I do appreciate the return of Casey. Because as I said last time we met him in the chili cook-off episode, which was brought up also in the t-shirt. We got 2 nods to that episode this week. I really love that actor, and so it was really fun to see him back. I appreciate him reminding us where we saw him last.
Same.
And I do like that we got answers about what happened to Robin. That said, those are the answers we get.
I was very happy to see Robin.
Ish.
I thought they were never going to bring him back for real. Like I was like, didn't he have a love interest? I'm like, it's been so long. I gotta say, guys, this was not my favorite episode. I love the show, and I tried to dress like Britney Spears, like she did in the episode, but we didn't quite get there today. So we're all just trying to be generally festive. But I was primarily disappointed with, gosh, how do I put words to this? The I guess the tropes, or sort of the low-hanging fruit in terms of it being a TV episode. I think it was written as a comedy, and it just didn't get executed as a comedy.
Are there any particular spots that you were like, this could have gone a different direction, or was it a more general sense?
Okay, so at the beginning, when she's like, it starts out pretty strong, right? So it starts out with Waverly and Wynonna not really remembering who they are, and they're like, "You're a bartender, obviously."
Right.
Hello, we're probably sisters. That's adorable. We live together. What? Like that's the tone I think the whole episode should have had. And maybe they just thought, well, Robin's story is sad, so we have to make it dramatic. And I'm like, I think you could have sprinkled that in there and we would have been fine.
Mm.
The whole bit with at the bar wasn't funny
Which
or
bit at the bar?
scary.
Which
Any of it.
So I'll say this. I absolutely loved the I absolutely loved, I'm now rethinking if I loved it. I absolutely loved the interaction early on between Eamon and Doc about Wynonna. That said,
Yes.
because it was vicious.
Yes.
That said, the more
I couldn't believe he pulled out her panties.
it was
Well, it's
vicious.
I was like,
woo.
It was also,
do you want to die today?
there were things that were said that I felt were kind of chauvinistic. And that is upsetting. But the way that it played out was vicious. And I think that I enjoyed, if that's a weird way to say it.
Well, it's very ownership of a lady.
Yes.
Which was weird, but between these characters and their own interaction, and the fact that Amon wants Doc, and it's in a way too, it's comedic. But yes, that definitely skirts that line that you're like.
Yeah, I will say we have some people in the chat explaining Robin. And the actor's on another show, and there have been issues because of COVID. I think it's totally fair that they changed the actor. I think it's totally fair that like he doesn't have a face. I totally get that. My problem is that they introduced this fog that we hadn't heard of before.
I thought it was a good explanation for where Robin came from. Yeah, and the fog is like, what? I mean, I guess it's the idea of, well, we don't know.
And for us not knowing about it, I thought I remember in the pilot episode, there's something around the town of the Ghost River Triangle that when you pass through it, but I think we finished that like protection where like Waverly like broke through it and in season 1.
So this episode specifically, it was like this fog magically appeared. No one went near it. Then he went through it. And Wynonna asked if BBD put it up to keep people in. And if I remember correctly, when they're dealing with Casey, he like flashes them with something from his jar.
He opens a can, and it's like a bright light, and he has some gas mask to go in.
And so how does a demon have a magical item that they can use on humans like Waverly and Wynonna?
Also, I thought the fog was his. That was because he had a gas mask. He was prepared. But
I thought this was his like demon effect.
Right. And then they brought it into this is a thing around the whole town. It's affecting everybody else. So I got very confused as though
and it
I
might have
known
come
something.
from the garden. I feel like this is like, don't look at the droids. You know, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, it just really glossed it over real quick. Like, but you know, it's still early on. That it's like, all right, we'll give it a breather. But it is very much like, did I miss something? Yeah.
So the chat is saying the fog is a thing, that the fog is coming from the garden, according to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Right.
But I still feel that's such an easy glossed over. But again, it's the intro of it, so yeah.
It's
honestly fine. I don't care that they lost their memories. It works for one episode. We have a monster of the week. It just, for me, the whole episode didn't gel together in any coherent way.
I will say our monster of the week was fun, and I want to give props to the actress who played him.
Yes.
I loved
she was, I was like, this person is a dancer.
This
person is physical. And I looked her up, and she's a stunt performer. So like that makes sense. She is so in tune with her body. It was amazing.
Yes. Just coming off the stand too and coming after them is like, oh, you're the bad villain thing, but I'm enjoying watching you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I almost wanted to see more of the wheel of like kills. Yeah. I thought that was going to be way more detailed. Maybe it was in an earlier version, but I was like, what are those cards? What was that? And so I enjoyed where that was going.
Well, speaking of the wheel, this essentially proves that nobody else really knows that Waverly's an angel, because they're like, yeah, it was a coincidence she got the angel thing. And I'm like, wait, they don't know? I'm like, I guess they don't know.
Yeah, I think that was a good confirmation that we still are blind to Waverly having angel powers, because I'm pretty sure once she figures that out, Waverly can take down almost anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they're like demonic by touching them.
I agree.
I think if she would realize it, I think.
I want to know. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I enjoyed Waverly and Wynonna not knowing Doc, but still being like Wynonna still being like, hey, because like even when your mind is wiped, who you love is who you love. Like you're just like, there's something about that. Just like it doesn't go anywhere, even if you're. So I thought that was a really sweet moment. I also didn't realize what Doc was dressed up as until like the very end.
Oh, as soon as I saw him, I was like, that is so clever.
Yes.
I'm so into it.
What's his name from the lead singer of Queen?
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Yeah, I only recognized it when I saw the mic, and I was like, And then
when he has to jacket off to an arm.
I wrote down, Doc has spiked bicep wraps. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's necessary. I would like to see that on more men's biceps. But I didn't know what it was for like the whole episode. So go me.
Because he was Freddie Mercury.
I figured that out at the end.
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. Big fan of that. I wanted to understand how their wheel and betting system worked with the villain, because like the villain would choose
him? Yeah, how do they know?
It's made of wood.
And also the fact that the monster doesn't know that the betting's taking place, so how can they tune into it?
But when he shows up at the end like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm like, wait, how would he know to even be there?
Yeah.
Magic? Anyway.
Magic.
Yes.
I was going to say back a moment to what Amber was saying. I did enjoy I didn't love the, like, I don't know who you are. Like, it was a little bit, but I loved seeing people's essentially true intentions and desires, because we get to see that Wynonna actually loves Halloween. It's like, I love this. And Waverly's a bit more like, and just how protective Waverly is of Wynonna, not knowing who she is. And so it's kind of cool to see their core interests and desires. And just like Robin too.
I totally agree. I really liked Eamon's twist at the end, that he was like, how do I take advantage of this? And the way he did was like perfectly evil. That is how you take advantage of it, is you, I guess, traffic a woman.
Yeah. Well, if they don't know how to fight you, but yeah, it's an interesting pivot. And I was like, oh, I like him so much. And now I'm like, all right, now you're like real evil. I mean, he was kind of bad before, but now it's like,
he's been evil.
Yeah, but not like destructive to our main people enough. So I was like, all right.
Crossed the line.
This was the end.
I believe we won't see him again.
No, not after the other demons beat him up and everything. Yeah. Or more too.
I don't think we'll see much of him unless he does one of those, I came back from the dead.
Oh, I love this.
To do one last evil.
I just saw this on the chat. Aurora, my mind wiped Waverly associates redheads with handcuffs and love, something like that. Yes, that was super fun. Like, that was adorable. I thought it was also a quick, weird way to get rid of Nicole. I mean, I understand it was a like girl trip, but it was just like, oh, we're gonna go shopping. Okay.
Yeah. They've done that before, right? Where they've gotten rid of
I have to go to a meeting in town.
Characters where they're like, we suddenly have an appointment. And it's like, oh. But that's okay, because actors have scheduling conflicts. So I was willing to let go of that. It's just so much of that kind of like stuttering in the plot that took me out of it. Like, a lot of those little things happened in this episode. That, I don't know, maybe it just was rushed or something, but the acting was incredible. Wynonna's hair was top shelf as per usual, and the costumes were adorable. I don't love that they sent Nicole Haunt away, but she has had a lot of screen time and a lot of hero shots lately. So like, I was okay with it, especially getting to know where Robin went to, which I've always wondered what the heck happened to him, because he was such a good character.
Yeah.
I will
totally
say,
agree.
anybody watching, listening, you can critique something you love. It's okay.
Yeah. I think honestly, I think that this episode, there's so much that I want to love and that I do love about this episode that I think it just needed another like minute to look over the script before it started. You know?
Yeah. Like it's so close, and maybe that's what's almost the part that hurts more is you're like, oh, it's just almost there, but like.
Also, where was Rachel?
She went
She's
shopping
go-
with Nicole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did we
like
see
it's
her?
such a throwaway? No, it's just a throwaway line of like, well, I'm going to the city with Rachel. She insisted we're going shopping for dresses. I'm like, okay. I kind of pictured more Nicole in a suit, but she can wear a dress if she wants to wear a dress.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun with the episode, but this is definitely not an episode that I would be like, you have to watch this show. Start here. You know what I mean?
I mean, definitely not. You can't start here. It's all of it is this entire episode is too involved in everything else, and too built on things we already knew or things I guess they thought we knew.
I did enjoy what's his name? Oh my gosh. Robin's lover.
Robin's boyfriend?
Jeremy?
Yes, Jeremy. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing. Jeremy. I
thought
really
you meant his
enjoyed
new
when Jeremy,
boyfriend.
I know. I was like, oh, there's a new boyfriend.
when he spikes the coffee.
Yeah.
Like I had a thought. I was like, what if he put something in that? He wouldn't do that. And then he did. It was the first time Jeremy surprised me on this whole show.
Oh, with the boss
He's done
guy?
great things before, but he's never surprised me.
No, so Jeremy's been spiking.
No, I was
Robin's
gonna say, was
coffee.
it the moment with Robin spiking it or with the boss guy spiking it?
The
Because I
boss.
did the boss part was hilarious.
With the like reverse vegan something.
It's
joke, yeah.
almond and soy.
First of all, I liked the idea of it, except that it's an allergy. He gave him stuff he's allergic to. He could have killed him.
He was ready
I
with
liked that.
EpiPen.
I like that a lot. Listen, he's been through shit. He's having a hard time.
I mean, real world
His
danger
boss is
aside,
mean. He
it was
likes
very
Boy's
funny on
boss.
the show.
Listen.
Yeah.
Bam Lover in the chat says, I personally like the episode. Only thing I didn't like were the amount of F-bombs they're putting in now. Honestly, I love swear words. I think they should be in every show. I think this episode had more than I was expecting or needed.
I didn't notice any swear words.
I didn't notice.
They said the F word a lot, and then they also said MFer, which I was very surprised on a Sci-Fi Channel show.
Well, they're done, right?
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want because they had the season order.
Sorry, it wasn't censored.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Sci-Fi
what-
has been ramping it up. Like when the
Yes.
Magicians first started, they started having swear words, and then Wynonna.
It was
I
actually
agree.
happy that that is where they switched it to allowing us to hear the F words. Sorry, I watch a lot of Sci-Fi Channel.
That's all right. I haven't watched Happy yet, so I'd love to hear that.
But I just, for MFer, wasn't expecting that one. I feel like that one's worse than just the F word.
No, fair. I love swear words too. I'm like, it's all good, and I don't mind it in the show. I guess I'm like Amber. I didn't notice because it kind of fits with our characters.
Yeah.
The real world censorship, sure, but like absolutely, if Wynonna swore up and down, and Doc, I'm on. I mean, I'd be maybe more
I
surprised
would notice if Jeremy was swearing at his boss, but other
if
than
Jeremy did or Waverly on a regular day.
I buy Waverly cursing. She grew up with an alcoholic
That's true.
father and a sister who's like. She's not that she like idols at swearing, but she's been around it her whole life,
Right.
and worked in a bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's I don't know, man. It's weird because I was raised by my grandmother, and swearing dang near brings her to tears. It upsets her so much. It literally is like just taking a knife to her chest. She cannot stand it when people swear, and for the life of me, I can never understand that because I'm like, it's just a word, chill out. But like to her, it's a big deal. So I understand that swearing is a big deal for some people. But for me, I'm like, you're an adult. Like, it's fine.
a way to express yourself.
Sure.
That concern is valid, is what I'm saying, but I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, side note, watch History of Swearing on Netflix. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that show.
I was raised by foreigners. We say any words. We don't. Words in English are not bad. Yeah. So we have a lot of feelings about this episode. Do we think that Doc and Wynonna are headed towards reconciliation?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Kari.
Yeah, I think
I'm
so.
like, yeah. Well, it's one of those. I feel like they are destined for each other, but there has to be some kind of shift, and especially probably more on Wynonna's part, or Doc going, all right, this is just going to be how it is, because it's one of those, you can't expect someone to change for you or expect them to change for you to love them. So either you have to accept that, or that's kind of it. So either has to accept what she is and how she is, or I don't know. I feel she's been having a bit more. I don't want Wynonna to change who her core essence is and what she's about, but I feel like she's been having some moments of realization of like, hey, what I'm doing isn't working. And so she might want to shift because she's just getting the same results and not liking what she's getting.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think at the end of this episode, when she realizes that she slept with Eamon and she was like, oh, I slept with Eamon. I think that she is headed towards a better path now. Amber?
I mean, I think that burst of like, hey, who is this? When she was mind wiped is a breadcrumb of what's to come. It's, underneath all of her walls, she's super in love with Doc Holliday. And he's not hiding it much longer anyway. He said something at the end of the episode about, I'm going to go after what I love, which is the Earp sisters, which made me cringe because I was like, no, it's not. It's Wynonna Earp. The name
I think he was
not
saying...
both sisters. Stop it.
I think that was a cover up of like, yeah, the thing I love.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the Earp sisters, not just the one. Like I felt it was one of those.
Yeah,
I like that better. Then that's actually more endearing. Good job. Okay, I like that.
I'm with Kari on that.
Both have to. Wynonna and Doc both have to cut through all the BS and accept that they're like meant for each other, because that's the problem. They both kind of are like have walls up super high. So I was like, okay, guys, calm down.
I don't really know why they're not back together already, but
he's upset that she killed the Clanton person when they were finally gonna like reconcile. And
shot in the back. So as his own code of honor, that's
And honestly, since then she's been drinking herself. So I think she's getting to it, and she's gonna realize that she was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, Aurora in the chat says I'm okay with them not getting back together.
I was like, excuse.
How dare?
No.
Your opinions are valid and welcome. Your opinions are valid and welcome.
Oh, did you see Bam Lover? Unpopular opinion. I've never liked Doc and Wynonna together, so I'd be okay with them not getting back together.
Who are you? Y'all!
Wow.
I feel betrayed. Do we need to replay Doc showing Wynonna how to shoot a gun again?
Do we need to replay
chemistry?
When she opens the note and he says, "I'm all in"?
I mean,
but it's one of those things when couples are essentially destined, made for each other, however romantic you want to label that. It will take time, but they'll eventually get together.
Right.
Especially since that town is so small.
Right.
He brought up this episode that he has a child he has not met, really. Mm-hmm. Do we think that is a what?
Called it a long time ago.
What did you gonna come back?
How long has it been? That was the other thing. When I was like, Halloween, what month are we in? Where are we? It's been a while.
It's been a few years.
So
and then they were gone for a few years too.
They were gone for 18 months. 15
So
months?
2-3 years. It could be a toddler. It could be a speaking toddler.
She.
Alice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That sounds
it's
right.
all right. I refer to children as it too. But
Renesmee.
No.
That's what she is. That's exactly what she is.
Bam Lover said that our reactions were worth it. I'm so offended by you.
We're testing us, Bam Lover.
It's all right. That's why there's fan fiction, so you can ship whoever you want to ship.
And we do. I want to talk real quick about Jeremy's signal.
Oh yeah.
So good. I was like, what is happening?
Yes.
As soon as that figure put in the bid, I was like, oh, it's Doc. And then we saw Doc and I went, oh, it's Jeremy.
I knew it was Jeremy because of the gun. And also Doc was there. But I didn't know that they were in on it, and I don't remember them coming up with that signal. But
they said we need to come up with the signal, and
it was so great. It was just so like buddy, and it reminded me of when they were back in the lab together, making each other uncomfortable.
Well, if you if anybody hasn't watched it yet, I watched them after the like behind the scenes extras. The actor was talking about for Jeremy. He's like, yeah, there was this line that he thought was more of a throwaway line of. He could feel Doc in his loins, kind of something like his spidey sense was his genital area about Doc. And so apparently that was kind of almost a way to bring that back. And he's like, I just thought it was silly. And then he thought maybe that was a callback, which it makes sense of like goofy of what this show can do.
I just thought it was because Jeremy likes Doc. Like I thought that was just,
yeah. But that's all tied in together. Yeah.
Aurora says it's a callback to Jeremy feeling it in his groin when his friends are in trouble. Nice.
Yep.
All of you are watching the bonus features.
They're really interesting. Oh, I was good. We kind of mentioned with Waverly, her putting on Nicole's uniform. She talked about getting to wear that, and then we'll get to Nicole being back in uniform unless we
Let's
still
do
were
it.
talking about. Yeah, the Nicole being back in uniform was like, oh, hello, and how Waverly was like, hi, and I love Wynonna's like, I'm in the middle of a porno. Because it totally is like, person shows up in uniform, interested party's like, hey there, and it's like wonderful. See, that's a cliche where it's adorable in this situation, and it's funny, and we're rooting for them. So it totally worked 100%. And then on the bonus features, they're talking about like just the power of the uniform and being back in uniform, and that being a callback. So if you haven't watched those, totally recommend them. And I love seeing her back in uniform too. It's kind of like, yay. I wondered, I'm like, oh, is she going to be sheriff again? Because she's so good at it. And this town needs somebody who's responsible. So we'll see.
She does seem to be the only responsible adult.
She is the only responsible adult.
Yeah.
I mean, Nedley's not here, not around full time. So like,
yeah, what is he doing? He's running
shorties. Yeah. He retired from police duty.
Let's talk a little bit about this Black Badge initiative. So they're trying to capture these creatures. They're not trying to kill them, which just a minor detail that the whole point of Casey was that he could remove the candle from inside Jack. And that's what they wanted. They wanted the candle. But Waverly blew it out, and so now he's dead. Am I to understand that correctly? That they wanted him alive-ish, but they asked for them to use Casey to remove the candle, which essentially paralyzes him.
Well, the thing too is it would make sense if the candle and then she blew it out. I would have wanted him to react of like, oh wait, because Wynonna drops off the pumpkin insides. I would think if that's what they wanted, she would have brought the candle. So I felt that was also not explained well enough of like,
because says we wanted him alive.
Yeah. So is the candle him
like
alive?
His soul?
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I assume, because he let him handle it and extract it. And I was like, how funny that the extraction is him taking the candle out of the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
I did like that. I thought that was a cute bit, but it didn't make sense.
What the glow inside the can was. Is that where he puts the candles?
The can makes no sense. I don't understand what his powers are, because like, because I thought he was the fog. I thought he made the fog and he wasn't.
Yeah.
It's a very vague episode. A lot of vague things. I'm like,
Yes.
Okay.
It was odd to reintroduce Black Badge and remind us what they're up to and what they're doing in the most confusing, vague way.
Also, it seems even more continued being malicious that they want the things alive.
Yeah.
For what purpose? Because you're not exterminating them, which makes sense of, okay, let's save everybody. Let's get rid of the monsters. No, we want to keep them.
That's
like
a good question. Why do they want him alive?
I assume they want to make their own weapons with them because that's usually what bad guys want to do.
Yep.
And what it seemed like was once the candle was removed, he was essentially frozen. And in my mind, that meant that we could like then use him or move him or do what we wanted with him. But it's interesting when we look at like Eamon's bar, which was empty, and they had their stream, which had like 6 people, 9 people
around the world. Demons.
Right. But the idea that there was like a comment about how the demons are disappearing and Wynonna doesn't seem to be the one killing them because Black Badge was like, you're not bringing us anyone. So where are they going?
Well, this is back to when we were talking about the Clantons are maybe the ones.
Collecting them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also possible.
Put them in the
interesting
cellar thing.
Right.
Also, the title of the episode is Hell Raising Good Time. And we didn't go to hell. We actually discovered that there was a lot of demons missing from Purgatory. So is that a precursor to raising the demons again? Where is this collective of demons that Wynonna's been overlooking, for lack of a better term?
Also, I'd be curious if we see more of them that are good ones, because there are some. We have met them. And it's like, wait, you can't just destroy all of them just because it's a monster. It's like, wait, there's good ones too.
Also, just if we're going to start listing things, Mercedes was referenced. Mercedes still dances at the club, but we've not seen her, and we've been to this club a lot.
True dat. Where is she?
I feel like she would love Halloween.
Yes, she would have been.
There was there was a huge absence of extras in this episode.
To be fair, COVID.
I think it was just honestly COVID because there was no one in the entire town for the entire episode. Yeah. And they even noticed it in the preview, and they were like, if you could only see this crowd, and the guy's like,
yeah.
Well,
and I'm
the
like,
demons, that makes sense, but that's a good point that the town is empty, because it's like, all right, and Eamon's already said, like, you've killed my customers, but where are the regular townsfolk? Because it seemed like they moved back in, too, so it's like, but where'd they go?
Are they all losing their memories because of the fog? Are we going to find people wandering at the edge of town?
Maybe.
Now that we have this.
Probably not, because they can't do extras. I don't think we're going to see.
Are we going to throw crew members in as extras?
We're going to see people green screened into fog.
Yeah. Well, you saw in the picture, right? They had extras online, like in like a Zoom call. I love that. They could keep them separate. I shouldn't keep talking about COVID, but I mean, like, you have to have creative workarounds now with it being officially 1 year into lockdown. Yeah. We must keep making television shows. So I appreciate that they worked around it. I appreciate that they even gave us a nod to it. I
liked the way that they did it with the live stream. I think that feels like a legitimate, if you owned a bar and people weren't coming, I feel like that's what you would do to try to drum up business.
Make money. Yeah. It worked for me.
And just to get attention, I feel like Amon's all about like being showy. So it makes sense. And nobody's there.
What was your favorite moment of the show so far?
So far, this episode. I really enjoyed the end with Nicole coming back and Waverly, them reconnecting, and then Wynonna still part of it because they had the, hey, I'm getting married, we're still sisters, was still part of it. So I kind of liked that there was a serious tone because Wynonna, I think, is feeling maybe more alone because this means maybe a change for her and she doesn't know what that means. But it's like, no, we're still all in this together, but we get our cute and adorable romance that we're like, oh yay, next Halloween we'll be oh yeah, when she's on my wife. That was cute.
I have 3 favorite parts. So I like that Casey was back because I do like that actor from Kim's Convenience.
That's where he's from.
He's Kimchi on Kim's Convenience. I liked
so good.
I liked I forgot one, but I'll remember it in a second. I really like the moment where they realize that they're in the bar and the demons come in and they're like, oh, cool costumes. And then Doc is like, what are you doing? And we see as a vampire and they're like, vampire. I love that because it's so silly. Because it's amusing to me that that they didn't know they were capable of fighting. So they were like, just like a normal person would be scared.
Like the party umbrellas, the little or drink.
The party umbrellas didn't work for me because that was written. Let me tell you how that was written. That was written. The girls are scared because they think they're normal girls because their memory has been wiped and they just saw something wild and they grab what's next to them to be like, look, Doc, we're so silly. Please help us because all we have is this thing and what's happening right now. And like they kept holding it like, we really think this is going to protect you. No, you don't. You're just scared.
You grabbed a bottle and smashed it and been like,
you know, you're not going to do anything with those things. Just stand behind them with your little things and just, you know, you can acknowledge that it's not going to protect you. But
that's a good point.
Oh,
again, I think they were directed to do that. So it was just a choice. And I also say that my favorite moment was also in that scene where she grabs the demon's tail.
Yeah. I like
Wynonna just grabs the tail and she doesn't just grab it. She goes, oh, up the spine. I'm gonna keep touching it. Like it was such a good little.
I like that we had a creature with a tail. We haven't, I mean, we've been very anthropomorphic, just mainly like here monsters. So I was like, ooh, different parts.
Yeah. I also liked that we got an answer about Jeremy. Not Jeremy.
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Because I've been waiting for an answer and I like the answer. I don't like the fog, but I like the answer.
100%. I was going to say, sorry, real quick. I love the Bam Lover says, so why didn't I shave? Then shaving above the knees. I felt that.
We all felt that.
That was smart writing in terms of like, yes, I 100% understand that sentiment.
That reminds me of a tweet I saw the other day about like women dating, and it was like, fellas, if she shows up and she is shaved below her eyebrows, you didn't pick her. She picked you 2 weeks ago. This is an appointment. You had no choice. And it's like it's so true because I never think about it until like other girls say it to me. I'm like, that's so right. I would like that is a clue. If my memory had been wiped and my legs weren't shaved, I'd be like, I'm not supposed to be here. Nope, something's wrong.
That's I
enjoyed that bit quite a bit.
That was very funny.
Yeah. We have a lot of people loving that dumpster shot where they're in the dumpster.
It was cute.
Speaking of the dumpster one, I liked when Waverly hopped out with her boots because on the special feature she was talking about how she really liked those boots. It felt really sturdy and grounded, and that I totally resonated with too. I'm like, yes, when you put on like a good pair of boots and you're like ready to kick some ass, and I like that. Even though she's tiny, she's like, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to defend this lady with me. Who's this creeper talking to her?
Yeah,
I love that she knuckled up. Fully being 90 pounds soaking wet with no memory. That's a fighter. Like that, like I was like, yeah, you could be my friend. Look at you. Little chihuahua barking, don't even know what's happening. She's about to die. She can't do anything. And she tried.
I totally agree. I will say, I noticed at the beginning of the episode, Waverly was fully covered. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but Waverly's almost always in a crop top. So to be wearing a long pants jumpsuit with a turtleneck underneath is just unheard of on this show.
Yeah, but then they reversed it with Wynonna wearing the crop top.
Yeah.
Right. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Also, I felt it was weird that, she lost her ladybug cape in the fog, too. I'm like, when did she take it off? Like, because she went in and it was so cute, and then it was off. I'm like, straps, where'd those come from?
She got lost.
The ladybug costume, so
cute. It was cute.
All right. Shall we start predicting where we're going? Because we only have 4 episodes left now.
We do.
I'm like counting. Oh man.
So the next episode is going to be episode 9 of season 4, called Crazy, and it's trivia night in Purgatory. So I think that we are going to see some more monsters, and maybe, hopefully, have a clue of where these demons have been disappearing to. That's my prediction. And if not, I'm going to be like, what are we just forgetting about revenants? Are we at this point? Because I want to know where they're at.
I think those are great points. Kari?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I'm like, how are they going to introduce the fog and wrap it up in about 4 episodes?
They just won't mention the fog. You know they're not going to mention the fog.
Ignore this.
Is the fog coming back into play?
We don't need it to. Just like we don't need the Crantons to come back. We can just fight evil in general and still enjoy the show. I get it.
You don't want to wrap up all the storylines. Okay.
I'm saying as long as it's entertaining, we'll be fine. And unless, of course, for some reason, Wynonna doesn't get together with Doc, which is not going to happen. If they pull a Game of Thrones on us.
Kari, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel the only way this show could end well is if generally the main baddie is taken care of, which at this point I think is maybe still the Clantons. But it ends where we've taken care of that main thing, but we're still continuing our adventures. So essentially, like, the main problem is solved, but like you can imagine it's going to be another day. I feel I don't feel everything's going to be wrapped up neatly in a bow in 4 episodes. I'm like, probably not. But I hope we don't have more tropes the rest of the episodes, because I'm a little nervous. It's the first 2 did really big ones too. It's like, normally the show seems to be so much smarter and better than that. Though they've handled them well, it does make me a little like, I'm also looking forward. The next 2 are directed by Jem Gerard, who she directed on Vagrant Queen. So, and was a showrunner for that. So I was like,
I was just looking at the director for this episode. He's French, and he actually directed the episode previous to this, which I loved.
Oh, interesting.
The Love's All Over was amazing. So I'm
curious how the tonal shift.
I don't know.
Kezi in the chat says, I'm afraid it will feel rushed at the end because of them not getting season 5. They had to close all the storylines. And Bam Lover says, hopefully we don't jam everything into the last 4 episodes, which I feel they will. Honestly, with the way that it's going, I have a feeling next episode will be another like monster of the week. And then we will have 3 episodes to wrap up the Clantons, to wrap up the Garden and Eve, if you may recall. Eve is somewhere, and give us a wedding. And get Doc and Wynonna back together.
Robin.
And I mean...
they sadly could leave Robin where it is. If they do something
with that character, it will be not next episode, but after that. That's right. Yeah.
Or
I think this is it.
Oh, you think that's it?
Unless they solve the like fog problem, which is how they would.
Why doesn't Jeremy just give him like a mega dose of helping him out and like approach him of like, hey, you know, you had a head injury. This is your treatment. Like he does it so sneaky that I'm like, why can't you approach it more directly?
I think there was an issue with doing too much. I think it was.
Right. They can die if they do too much.
Right.
But we've seen progress. So either A, we're not going to see him at all, which I think is a very high likelihood, or B, it's going to be he will show a bigger sign of progress towards getting his memory back. Like maybe he won't be 100%, but I did love, side note on that, I loved how that actor really embodied, there's a pun for you in a way, the mannerisms and the essence of who Robin was. I really felt they nailed his isms and how he behaved. I was like, absolutely, feels like him.
It really did feel like him, which is so impressive to do when you recast someone. I agree. I feel like we are more likely that the fog will be solved, and we'll hear that Robin like has his memory but is still in love with whoever he's in love with right now or whatever. That's my thought on those. What else we got, Amber?
Well,
people in the chat are talking
in terms of, I mean, I looked on IMDb and I didn't see Robin come up again in the season. So. Unless they're just doing a really good job of being sneaky.
Which they could be.
Which could be, but I think this show needs to circle back in on the Earp sisters, and eventually the town of Purgatory, which is really what the show started about, was the town of Purgatory. So I think we're going to have a quick but really fun wedding. I think the wedding's going to be split between 2 episodes where the wedding gets interrupted by a baddie. We have to save the day. And then in the next episode, we for real get married. That's what I think is going to happen.
I can see that.
I see Aurora in the chat says that Emily Andress was on the TV's Top 5 podcast, talked about the end of the season and the potential future. Yes. So the show is canceled at Sci-Fi, and it is potentially going to end up somewhere else. Bam Lover says we need a movie.
It has enough of a fan base.
Yeah, we need a movie to wrap it up. It's possible, but I would hope that knowing that we're ending here and knowing how hard it was just to get this 4th season made, that they considered that and that we wrap things up, at least the storylines that we have in the next 4 episodes. That is my hope.
Mean, of course, we're like, yes, we'd love more, but I kind of feel this is probably the end. And so I hope they're able to wrap it up enough. Like I was saying, of the main problems are solved. But look, it's as if we could imagine it going on afterwards, but we just don't have episodes of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
We do have people in the chat saying that Kenzie said that Jeremy feels guilty about Robin, and they feel like Robin's better off for not being involved in all the fray. He's hesitant but conflicted because he still loves him. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I would be conflicted too. If I was in love with someone and I was putting them in harm's way and then their memory got out, I would leave them alone so they didn't get hurt. So that works for me. Also, we lost the actor, so like I get it, but I wish we could have seen more of that. It's okay. Maybe they'll put it in the comics.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be canon somewhere else. What happens to Robin and Jeremy? Make it so, Bo Smith, wherever you are.
Awesome. I think that's about it for this episode.
Yeah.
But why don't we tell everybody what we are up to? Because we all got stuff going on. So let us tell you about it. Amber?
I'm streaming on Twitch. If you guys are into some video games, I'm playing an RPG that's free to play called Genshin Impact right now. It's my first gacha game, and boy, does it have me.
Great.
If you would like to watch that, you can watch that tomorrow or pretty much any weekday. I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/Amber Plaster. I'll put a link in the description below on this replay. I'll also have more Wynonna Earp podcasts for you every Monday until the show ends.
Yep, on this channel. So make sure you've subscribed and also give us a thumbs up for this video. Also, if you like Twitch, I'm going to Twitch right after this, and I'll tell you where that is in a second.
Yay!
Kari,
what are you going to be playing?
I'm playing Zelda: Link to the Past on Super Nintendo.
Oh, nice!
But Kari,
I wish you were here. I just found a Zelda bracelet, and I haven't played the game, so I want to give it to someone. I'll save it for you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Kari.
Yes, thanks. You can find me online at Kari D Lane on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. And over on my YouTube channel, I'll be covering American Gods. We have 2 more episodes before it's done. And I'm like, so I'm excited. That's a really cool show. And yeah.
Awesome. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Again, twitch.tv/Yael Tygiel. playing Zelda: A Link to the Past on classic Super Nintendo. Right after this, at the top of the hour, I'll be heading right over there. So meet me there. And we'll be back next week. If you love Law and Order Special Victims Unit, check out Law and Order S Review over on Fanversation's YouTube channel. And if you love superheroes, you can watch Super Lady Hero Hour, also on Fanversation's channel. And I have a new queer podcast called Have You Tried Not Being a Podcast? Over on that hashtag show's YouTube channel and Instagram. So check that out, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.